Good morning, afternoon, or evening, whatever it is for you. I'm Cyclone. This is Let's Play Train Simulator. You're looking at this list, you're probably saying, Cyclone, you're back on the workshop scenarios, aren't you? No, this is official scenarios. I have a number of other packs here as well. The Dwight D. Eisenhower, the Mallard. These are actually official packs. I have the 421 Southern pack here. And then, of course, I have 377 scenarios like, Express Preparation there. That's one of the scenarios we're going to be playing, in fact. But today we're going to be down here playing the Electrostar. The Electrostar. So we're going to be playing that scenario today. That is our tutorial scenario, and I'm intentionally recording this one after having played all the other scenarios here. You can see the check marks on them. I'm not going to go to the career tab and show you those. You'll see those as I come to them. But this is the Electrostar. This is going to be where we do our train tour. I'm going to show you around the controls of the train. Then we're going to go ahead and do a quick tutorial. It's kind of like a second tutorial. Now, I had previously done a free roam scenario, and I was going to use that as my second video. And if I talk about that in any of the videos up ahead, there's one or two where I used the original cut where I might have mentioned it. If I talk about that, note that I did not include the free roam. I determined that the route I was going to take, which was, I tried to do a quick drive. I tried to do a free roam. The free roam wouldn't let me drive the entire route. It started me at Brighton and stopped, or maybe it started me at Gatwick and it stopped me at South Croydon or something like that, or Croydon, Colston, whatever it is, something like that. So it actually stopped me at a certain point, wouldn't let me continue to London Brighton. So I decided to do a quick drive, and then I did the quick drive just doing the straight path without making any stops, stopping at London Victoria to call it a day. And then I found out, you know what, there are other scenarios that go from Brighton to London Victoria non-stop. So I might as well just do those, forget the quick drive. So I'm not going to show you the quick drive either. If I mention that, don't even look for it. It's not on here. This is our second scenario, our first official scenario. We're going to be doing all 12 official scenarios in order here. Let's go ahead and get into the Electrostar scenario, and let's take a look at this train, this 377 that I kind of drove without introducing it last time because I was trying to give you some keyboard shortcut information last time. This time we're going to take a good pause and take a look at the train. Let's get in there and let's take a look. Welcome, driver. Today you'll be driving the Class 377 Electrostar electric multiple unit. As this is your first time driving this train, you will only be making a short journey down to Brighton Station where you will couple to another 4-car and pick up the passengers waiting to travel to London Victoria. I will be mentoring you through this process so you can get acquainted with the controls. Just relax and take your time. The pop-ups will pause the game so you don't have to worry about rushing through all the information. To start with, you'll need to know how to get the train to move and stop. I'm going to go ahead and guide you through all that, so I'm just going to close all this. I'll show you these buttons later because I don't use the F4 HUD. I'm going to also get ready to pause my game immediately using that. So I've gone ahead and paused the game myself now so I can show you around the train. Let's take a quick tour here. Master key is down here. We have the throttle, or the reverser rather, right here, and that has a couple settings which I can't really move while we're on the, I'm going to unpause so I can show you, but that's the reverser and that's the throttle. So I'll show you the settings right here very quickly as I unpause. There we are. So the reverser, that's the throttle that I'm moving up and down right now. You're seeing me move that right now. The reverser, which I've reset and the sunflower just came on, goes into two settings as you can see. So let's pause again so we don't go too far ahead in this scenario here. Some other buttons that we have that are going to be important. There's an emergency brake button, which I'm not going to really use. If you're driving carefully, you're never going to need the emergency brake button. It's all the way up here, by the way. That's the emergency brake. So you're never going to need that. These speed set controls I'll show you in a later scenario. City Express scenario 4, I believe I show you those. There's a speedometer. There's your brake pressure gauges. Let's zoom back out a little bit and look at the rest of the controls on this side of the cab. We have the depot whistle, which is the B. That's the bell. The horn is over here, by the way, way on this side. That's the horn. That's the normal horn that you hear when trains go by on at-grade crossings. So near that, we have the cab light, which you can turn on and off. And since I'm paused, let me go ahead and turn it on for you. There we go. So I've turned that on for you now. And we have I'm going to show you this because this is an interesting item here. The driver's reminder appliance. You can see now that it is lit. When it is lit, you cannot apply power to the train at all. It's like you have an emergency brake activated. It's basically used to remind you that for the driver pushes that to remind themselves they don't have a green signal ahead. They have to be prepared to react at the next signal. That's why the driver's reminder appliance is used. Typically, I'm not going to use it, but in a real-life scenario, you would be expected to use that, especially if you stop for a while, you start doing things during your stop, and then you forget if you have a green signal or not. It reminds you that you have to check, basically. So I'll turn that back off now. We'll pause again. We have a sander down here. This red button is not activated below it. The buttons on this side also don't do anything. The TPWS, we don't have use for those. Train fault. Safety system is not used. This is the AWS reset button right here. That's what I'm going to use Q for most of the time. The hazard lights we don't really have programmed. These are the windshield wipers. They only have an on and off setting. There is an intermittent and slow setting, but we only have on and off. They only go on and off on this model. So we don't have those other two settings on this model. Not like in the American Truck Simulator where you have all 4 wiper modes on each truck that you get. It's only those on and off on this train. The door close, obviously the doors are closed. That's something we don't push. That lights up when the doors are closed. And it's off when they're open. The T key obviously opens the doors if you have stops to make. So that's the majority of the information I'm going to show you so far. Cruise set, or speed set, like I said, I'm going to show you in the 4th scenario, so don't worry about that now. We have some blinds here. You can pull these blinds down if you want to. In fact, I'll go ahead and I'll unfurl this now. You can pull these up and down. There's another one up and down here. I'm going to start moving forward, by the way, while we are doing this. So other controls that we have headlights here. We have tail lights here. You want to make sure you turn on the right one as you need them here. So that's headlights, and that's tail lights. So I'm going to try to turn the headlights off now. We don't need them right now. I'm going to turn the throttle down because we're going at good speed now. The yellow button next to that doesn't do anything. The AC system control, that is the pantograph. Below that is the third wheel shoes. Those are 2 ways to get electrification to the train to get power. Cab heating is automatically done for us. We don't do anything with that. So that's pretty much everything about the train. Let's go ahead and get up to our position here where we have to come to a stop. I'm going to go ahead and go full speed up to that stop. Good job. You managed to get the train moving. You'll need to get ready to stop the train soon, though. Up ahead at Preston Park, the signal is currently red. You'll have to stop here until the other train has passed and the signal changes. You'll also notice that the AWS will activate when you pass over the AWS ramp. Get ready to acknowledge the signal. Otherwise, the emergency brakes will force your train to stop. Now would be a good time to explain the system signaling for this route. The signaling system. I'm going to go ahead and do that myself as we come up to the signal. So let's get up to the signal and then I'll explain it. Whoa, don't speed. Thank you. So you see the shunt signal there, that double white signal that we just passed? That means we can proceed onto the track. If that was 2 red dots, we would not be allowed to proceed. We would have to stay within the yard. And that's not part of the signaling explanation, but it is important to know if you do happen to do any shunting, say in the Norwood Junction Yard, Selhurst Depot, then you're going to have to know that to move around between the lines there. So we're going to go ahead and come closer to the signal. And as I do, I'm going to zoom in and show you. Speed up a little, please, so I can get up there and explain before the other train comes along that we're waiting for. Please and thank you. All right, you see that little panel in the ground next to the signal? If we cross over that while the signal is red, that signal being protected, the red signal, will cause that to activate on us, and that will bring us to an emergency stop. That panel right there in the ground. Obviously, we can't pass the signal or that will happen. I'm not going to show it off either because that's obviously passing red signal is a bad thing. So we're not going to do that. The signal is red. That means we cannot proceed. If that signal is green, we can proceed at line speed. Here's the train coming that we're waiting for, by the way. 78573 is coming along. So the signal is going to change to a yellow type of signal in a moment. Now, if you have a single yellow, that means that the next signal is red, like the one we have right now. If you have a double yellow, like we just got, that means that the signal is ahead of us is yellow, and the one after that is red. So 2 signals ahead is red. Green is the only signal that does not provide any indication of what the other signals ahead are. They could be yellow or green in that case. So green signal does not necessarily mean you go all the way. It just means you go for that next block. As soon as you see double yellow, then you have to start reacting to it. We're under a 40 right now, so I'm going to go ahead and proceed into the 40. You notice that we had a line pointing to the upper left. That means we're going over one track. So notice that we just left the track on the far right there. We're going over to this track. We're staying in this track right now. I'm going to leave the speed at 25. There's no reason to go up to 40 for our tutorial, but you can go up to 40 if you want to. Some nice, oh, and the track behind us just reset, so the 40 appeared behind us as well. So further confirming our speed there. And you can notice the Hove connector going off to the left there. That's the Hove connector taking you to the Hove station. I actually was talking to someone recently who actually is creating the line over near the Portsmouth Harbor and recreating a couple of the old steam lines from that area. And that's a project I'm going to have to follow, and I might actually have to show that off on this channel at some point, using the 402 train that used to travel on that line, on those lines while it was in effect. So I might have to show that off at some point in the future. But for right now, we're going to be doing London to Brighton. There's the AWS ramp, so that's going to indicate our next signal is a yellow. We have to respond to it. And we're about to get a prompt at this signal. Now those, I want to stop while we have this up here so you can see this. That I mentioned the line earlier. If there was a horizontal line, we'd be going over 2 tracks. You can't in this case, so it's not an option here. If there was a line pointing down to the left or down to the right, that means you're going over 3 tracks, the most extreme changeover you can get. There's another red signal up ahead due to the other 4 car obstructing your path. In this instance, you should request permission from the signaler to pass this signal. To do this, press the tab key on the keyboard. After we pass this signal, we can do that. But I'll do it a little closer. Once you have passed this signal, you will approach platform 4 where you will couple onto the other 4-car 377. Keep your speed down, below 10 miles per hour as you connect with the train. Coupling will occur automatically. Roger. So you can request to pass the red anytime now, but I'm going to get a little closer so you can see what happens to the signal ahead. So I'm going to zoom in here. Let's go ahead and get up to closer to 25 again, because why not? By the way, notice the vehicle working over here on the side. That is beautiful. I love these kinds of things. I love these kinds of things in the scenarios. It adds some life to the route. I really like it. So we're going to zoom in again here, like I said. Okay, you can see the red signal ahead. We're going to get our AWS ramp right now to tell us to stop. And I'm going to go ahead and request a tab pass now. Watch below the red. Notice the shunt lights came on below it. That means we're allowed to pass. We can go ahead. There's the red shunt lights on the signal that we just passed further to the left. That means that you can't leave that track onto this track because we're here, obviously. So, and here's another track coming in from the London Road station. That's another different path that you can take. Let's slow down. I'll give you a quick peek down that route as we slow down. So you can see down the route there, that's where it goes. So I'm down to 10 right now. I didn't need to come down to 10 immediately, but I will do it for the purpose of our scenario. Because it's a really short scenario, and we're going to be done here in a couple minutes anyway. So let's just take a quick look down the path here and finish her up here. Now, as I come to couple here, I'm just going to let you know that we do have 12 scenarios on London to Brighton, including this one. We're not going to do the 421 scenarios, and I have not picked up the other 377 trains so far. And also a fun fact, the 377 I just showed you, it's the exact same train as the 375. The 375 is bundled with the Chatham Medway Lines route, not the original Chatham route, but it does come with the Chatham Medway Lines extension to it. So you'll get the same train with that. If you want to drive the train but you don't want London to Brighton, you can get it with that. The 375 does come with both versions of Chatham, and I think South London Lines also comes with the 375, like I said. So some similar trains there. You'll find some other trains with those routes as well, but I want to point out that the similar train is in both routes, and the 375 I show off in a future scenario. You're going to see that it actually is the same operation mechanics. So we're going to... Oh, that train's leaving. Goodbye, sir. T77304 is on the way out. Good for him. So we're going to go ahead and couple to this train right now. I'm going to hit the brakes as we get really close to it. Let's turn that off. And we're going to finish right here. Beauty. You have coupled to the other 4-car. Now it's time to pick up the passengers. To do this, you can either click the load, unload button icon on the user interface, highlighted in red in this picture, or you can use the keyboard by pressing the T key. Yeah, as you can imagine, first of all, I'm not in the best view right now. If you want to change cabs, by the way, I'm going to show you how to change cabs very quickly. It is something that's not going to affect us for this scenario, but for the purpose of showing you how it works, I'm going to go ahead and bring this up. So you see I'm going in the direction towards the buffer right now. If I want to go to the other cab, I'm going to want to make sure that the platform is on my left. So let's go ahead and get in the train. I'll bring up the F4 key and I'll show you how to change cabs. That's the buffer, so that's not the right cab. So we're going to go all the way up the train here. And now we're facing the correct direction. Now, technically, you should be shutting down this cab when you do that. This is the cab we were in. So we'd have to shut down this cab by removing the reverser, leaving the brakes in about a 60% position. Then we can hop to the cab, set up this cab, and then we can begin our journey as soon as we pick up passengers. We're not going to be driving this train, but I wanted to show you how to set up this train in case you were going to leave again. We're not going to do it. We're just going to pick up passengers. Doors are open. And that's going to end our scenario here. And then someone else is going to take this lovely 8-car train that we have here and is going to take this train off to, I think it's Eric who's going to actually drive off with this train. He's going to take this train onwards to London, Victoria. Woo, I'm outside. Didn't mean to do that. So there we go. Whoops, there we go. The passengers aboard the train, we are ready to depart for London, Victoria. The tutorial has been completed. Anyway, we've done our stops here, and that's all we have to do. So if you like what you saw here, make sure you like the video. Make sure you give it a thumbs up, of course. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can see all the London to Brighton videos as they come out. And you may also see some suburban Glasgow and some Sherman Hill already on this channel. There's going to be more coming from other routes in the future as well. I have a lot of routes. I'm going to be playing this for a while, so I might as well learn about the areas I'm driving and teach you about it at the same time. That's kind of what my goal is for this. It's more of an education channel about the world than anything else. So I hope you hang around for that ride as we go around the world on trains. And I look forward to having you along for another journey. Next time we're going to be doing the burst pipes scenario. Burst pipes is the first career scenario in the London to Brighton pack. I will see you for that. Until then, I'm Cyclone. Have a wonderful day, evening, or night, whatever it is for you at your part in the world, and I will see you next time for Burst Pipes. Bye-bye.